Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones. In this afternoon's topic, we're going to begin where we left off previously by talking about how these single mothers are a dating liability. So the title of this afternoon's video is Single Mothers Are a Dating Liability Part 2. Now, as I said in the previous video regarding single mothers, I'm a little bit more extreme because I put all categories of caretaking women in the same boat as single mothers. Why do I do that? Because these single mothers and other female caretakers of elderly parents, grown children, grandchildren, do not respect the time of individuals who want to spend time and build a relationship with them. Now, the liability comes into effect when you have a number of these single mothers out here, whether they're divorced, widowed, and going into the widowed part, widowers have the tendency to compare the new man that they found to the deceased if the deceased was a good man. But I don't advise anybody to go in that direction when she's still raising children. Because just like every other single mother, the children will always come first. But there's another category that I want to talk about, and it is the disclosed single mother. What do I mean by a disclosed single mother? Well, these are single mothers that don't have custody of their children. In fact, they will lead you on for a certain amount of time by their activity. These are the single moms who are out there parading themselves around. They're letting every dude fuck them. They're sucking every dick that is put to their mouth. They're usually in the sex industry, stripping, prostitution. Some may even be call girls. But these are your low-life party girls. But with all that being said, when it comes to the non-custody of their children, the court systems don't go after these women for child support. So the system is set up to go after men. So putting all the categories together, when it comes to single mothers, and this is from my point of view because all of these women are never going to put a man first. In fact, I always say, don't make somebody a priority if they make you an option. That's one of my 66 rules of dating. Now, the categories. You have your traditional single mothers, your divorcees, your widowers. Your widowers can be an exception, but only, and this is a big only, just like a traditional single mother, if the kids are grown and gone, they have their own families, and they don't have the need of the mother's time. Then you have your I call them codependents. This is where the mom is taking care of her parents. She's also taking care of grown children and the grown children's children. And something else to put into the mix, some of them are even taking care of pets. Yes, you are a man. You are going to place second behind her dogs and cats. And some of these mothers, and you could say single women as well, they love to put their pets in the bed with them. And at the end of the day, when you try to make love, when a woman's in this situation of having to be a caretaker of everybody else, you have no privacy. This is why you will be very miserable. Now, when it comes to kids, a number of these females basically use these kids or paycheck. And something else that you must consider, women who have foster kids. And there are a number of women who are in their 50s and 60s who can't live by themselves. So what do? They go get foster kids. But again, depending on what state you live in, some of these women get paid a lot of money for having foster kids. Now, they really don't care about these foster kids. They care about the money for them. And when it comes to these single mothers don't really care about their children, but they get a huge tax refund for having a child because they have earned income credits or child tax credits, and they claim head of household. This is why you see a number of these women, when it comes to buying a car, getting themselves fixed up, going to college, they take a lot of their money and they spend it on themselves. Again, they don't care about anybody but themselves. Now, a question was posed to me when I was chit-chatting during my lunch break. What about if the single mother's Christian? Well, if you listen to my last videos, 2 videos, Christian women are also a danger. They only use Christianity as a benefit to themselves. They don't really like God. When it comes to the black women, church is a social construct for them. In other words, they love to dress up and act like they care about God. Now, this is not all of them, but it is a number of them. But church is something for them to fake like they believe in God. They don't believe in God. Now, for the white women, a number of them are practicing Wiccanism and paganism, which is a form of witchcraft. But going back to these single moms, one thing that I didn't put in my last video is, what about these single mothers who are killing their children? You see, you have women, and I know Tommy Sotomayor put out a couple videos where the single mother put her kids in the freezer. And in fact, there was an incident where she had the children, they were already deceased, but they had been stashed away in a closet for over a year. Now, some of these women don't get any time at all. Some of these women do. What about the abortion rate? When it comes to abortion, this is why I say, if you vote Democrat, you vote for abortion. In fact, when it comes to the system, if guys make a mistake, they still have to pay for it. Women, If they don't want the kid, they can drop the kid off at a firehouse. Many of them don't do it. They can also give the kid up for adoption. Many women don't do that either. They just keep the kid to make the man's life horrible, because they use the child to control that man. And at the end of the day, when it comes to these single moms, a child is a moneymaker. Now, there was a video I heard on Minister Jap's channel where a single mom said, "I wish I could have swallowed you," and then called the son a bitch ass. I could have swallowed your bitch ass. Now, these are the types of women that guys need to stop putting their seed in. Because these women don't care about their own kids. Do you think they care about you? Now, I'm going to flip the script, because there are some women who care about their kids too much. But because these women don't want to live alone, they say they can't live alone, they keep their kids at home. And they do everything to get the kids to like them. This is why their kids are disrespectful. This is why I will tell any man out here, kids are a liability. There's no sense in having kids. Forget about making legacies with your name. Some of these women that you're having kids with don't want the kids themselves, but they parade around like they do want the kids. But in actuality, they utilize the kids as a pawn. It's a control factor against the man, because the man may have gone out and found him another woman, or she may have gone out and found her another guy, and she's throwing that guy in that man's face. And that guy that she's with is mistreating those kids. If you want a good example, look at Tyler Perry's, believe it's one about little girls, where the mother was hood. She didn't care anything about the child. And the boyfriend said, "I'm going to have fun with your children." Now, I believe Idris Elba played in that Tyler Perry movie. Daddy's Little Girls was the Tyler Perry movie. But at the end of the day, when you look at these single mothers out here, even when they have custody of the children, they're irresponsible. This is why they're a liability. And if you're dating a single mother, your job should just to smash and dash. Get your dick sucked, get nuts off. Again, move as fast as you can, because there is no value in dating any single mother. Whether they're divorced, if they're taking care of their grown kids, if they're taking care of their grandkids, if they're taking care of any other folks, even if they're taking care of pets. If a woman who's in the position of a mother, notice I'm going to say mother. You see, just like women would tell us we're just sperm donors, well, a number of these women out here are just mothers. They just carry the seed, have the child, and then they mistreat the child. And my thing is, the purpose of having children, particularly in the past, was to utilize them in agriculture. Because before the Industrial Revolution came along, America was big in agriculture. This is why families had a lot of kids. Today, you don't need a lot of kids. And most of these kids that are out here now ain't about shit. And most men, they spent a lot of their money or time trying to take care of their children. They made the sacrifice. But we don't look at men as making sacrifices. We look at men as they're supposed to make the sacrifices. But when it comes to a woman, even if she's unfit, she claims that she's done it all by herself, when in retrospect, she didn't do it all by herself. She had help from other boyfriends. She had help from the government. And when these kids are stuck with the mother, this is where things can go haywire. If you're a boyfriend dating a single mother and that child doesn't like you, particularly if it's a female, she can always go out and make up a lie that you raped her. And you will find yourself behind bars. Because women are allowed to use accusations. And then when you're sitting behind bars like Brian Banks was, and then a woman comes up or comes out a few years later and says, oh, he didn't rape me, nothing happens to her. But these children are the way they are because the mothers teach these children their methods. Let's look at why it is another liability of dating single mothers. You meet a single mother. She's been on a system all her life. Now when it's time for her subsidies to end, like child support and welfare, what does a single mother do? She encourages her daughters to get pregnant and have the baby. Why? Because once she has the baby, her mindset is to tell her daughters to go on a system and she'll babysit the child. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, the child now lives in poverty because she did what the ain't shit mother told her to do. So the mother's still going to benefit because she's going to live in the same apartment or public housing with the child, and they're going to continue to collect a check. This is where you get that vicious cycle of welfare, and it's across all races. And trust me, some of you guys who are SYSBM, you better stop being so female-centric, because a number of you brothers out here, it's funny how hypocritical you are. Oh, you'll trash the black single mom, but you'll still go out and date this Latino or white single mom. I got to ask you, what the hell are you doing? It's the same shit. These single moms are never going to put you first. You are there to give them your money. And Lord behold, if you get one of them knocked up, that's your ass right there. Because it costs a minimum of $250,000 to take care of a child for 18 to 20 years. But when it comes to a number of these single mothers out here, they're irresponsible because these single mothers want to do what they want to do. These women out here who are mothers have more rights than men and children. And at the end of the day, these single mothers never grow up because the government encourages them to be irresponsible. And again, when you date these single mothers out here, they have no time for you because their time is spent taking care of their so-called children, if they have custody of them. And if they don't have custody of them, they still don't have any time for you because they're busy partying. Now you have to ask yourself, when they're partying, who has the children? Again, they're pawning their children off to the aunt. They're pawning the children off to the mothers, their mothers. They're also allowing their children, the mothers, the grown mothers, or the mothers who are the mothers or the grandmothers, to live in the same house. And what they do with these children, they don't hold the children accountable for anything. They allow the children to come and go as they please. And God forbid if some of these children have pets. Again, you as a man, when it comes to dating these single mothers out here, she's going to put her pets before you. She's going to put her elderly parents before you. That woman who has a deceased husband, she's going to put that deceased husband before you. The disclosed single mother is going to put her partying, her sex life, her whole life, whatever you want to call it, before you. A number of these so-called Christian women, they're going to put their church before you, but they're going to try to talk you into going to church, and they're going to tell you what you need to do with your life. And I'm talking about these Christian mothers, and they're not going to look at their life at all, because they're going to say God takes care of my situations. When basically putting everything together, and it may seem like I'm all over the place in this video, but I'm giving you a lot of examples here in part 2, because you need to understand that when you date any single mother, they are a liability. And if the kids don't like you, you set yourself up for failure. And some of these kids will sabotage the relationship. Because the kids, for the most part, if their parents aren't together, they want all the attention from the mother that they're used to getting. And this is why kids never grow up. And when you're dating a single mother and she has a son, the son basically worships that mother, because the mother tells the son that he is the man of the house. So when a boyfriend comes into her life, this man is going to try to set down rules, or this boy is going to try to set down rules and tell that man, this is my mother, I love my mother, and don't you hurt my mother. Nobody wants to see their mother hurt. But see, this boy is going to come off like he is a man when he isn't a man, because this boy has gotten all of his emotions and his thinking from his mother. And at the end of the day, this boy doesn't even know how to take care of himself. This is why a lot of boys in all communities who were raised by mothers are abject failures. Another thing to tell you about a number of single moms, they utilize the failure to launch system. They want their grown kids to be at their beckoning call all the time. So they allow the grown kids to live in a house, even if the grown kids don't have kids. So, guys, just because a woman is old enough to have kids who should be grown and gone, today's millennial kids, they're not going anywhere. Many of them are living at home. And many of these moms out here, when we talk about destroying kids' lives, a lot of these kids who were raised around single mothers were molested by a boyfriend. In fact, if you want to look at something, I know a lot of you brothers think that black women kill their children. Yes, they do. But look at people like Andrea Yates. She killed all 5 of her children. Susan Smith. She put her children in a car in South Carolina back in the 90s and blamed it on a black man. And there was another incident in Baltimore. Now, this was a black woman. She actually threw her kids off of a roof because the man that she was dating didn't like children. These are women who thought about nobody but themselves. But they thought it was a good idea to fuck around and have kids. And at the end of the day, they couldn't take having kids. In fact, when it comes to men, it's the men who really want the kids. But the system doesn't believe men are capable of taking care of kids. The system doesn't allow men in the classrooms with children because they think the men are the violent ones when it is the mothers who are violent. Because again, as long as the kid can bring a benefit to the mom is going to love that kid until she gets tired of that kid. And she'll get tired of the kid when the money runs out. And when you are in this situation, it's always going to be constant turmoil. Again, as I told you in the video when I lived in Pennsylvania, I knew some Christian white women who were supposed to be divorced, but they were living with their ex-husbands. It's so-called ex-husbands because I don't believe they were divorced. These women couldn't find a place to go. And if you're living with your ex-husband, you're going to tell me something is not going to go on? Of course something is going to go on. Men got a dick and they want to fuck. But these women were trying to convince me, and they were white women, that all it is they're living together. It's bullshit. But when it comes to a lot of these single moms out here, they don't have any money to bring to a relationship. They don't have anything to bring to a relationship but their body. But when you have an understanding of what's going on around you, that body isn't going to make a damn difference at all. These single mothers out here are a liability. And you guys need to know that. You guys need to understand that her agenda is to get resources from you. And once she gets all the resources from you, she's going to monkey branch to the next man. Too many of you guys are blinded. You have guys out here who are taking care of children that aren't theirs. And at the end of the day, when you're spending money on somebody else's seed and that other seed is not being responsible for his children, you're the simp, you're the idiot, and that single mother is still going to put her children before you. And she's still messing around with other men. These single mothers aren't loyal. And the ones that try to be loyal, at the end of the day, they want relationships and they don't have any time for a relationship because they're working. Yes, they're trying to do the right thing, but they're also selfish too. Why? Because they expect the man to accept their lifestyle. They accept the man to accept their children. She doesn't care about your time either. Ones who are trying to do the right thing. So at the end of the day, if you look at the women who don't have custody of their children and the women who do have custody of their children, whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing or they're unfit, on both occasions, the women are selfish. They're all about them. And if you don't do it the way they want you to do it, they're going to shame you. And guys, you got to wake up. Because if you allow yourself to be shamed, you're going to get scammed out of all your money. Again, single mothers, divorced mothers, women who are taking care of their grown kids, their grandkids, and elderly parents, and even putting their pets above you, they've made you an option. You're not a priority. And at the end of the day, you need to stay far away from individuals who are single mothers or divorced mothers, grandmothers. Anybody who's looking for a relationship, and you get involved with them and their actions show that they're putting everybody before you, you're wasting precious time. Look elsewhere. Well, I'm saying all you brothers here in this part too, do not date single mothers. Because at the end of the day, it is a lose-lose situation. Single mothers are a liability. And if you date them, they will destroy your life. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. You can catch me on Blog Talk Radio as well every weekend. Talk about numerous topics. I do have a call-in number. It's 215-383-5785. You can also check out the Mind of STEM channel. That's my newer channel. And on that channel, I talk about science, technology, engineering, and math. And I give you a daily dose of what STEM careers are. And I also go out in the field to perform different inspections. I show you what documentation is like. And I just give you commentary and overview on the different fields. And if you don't know where any of my videos are, I'm going to tell you right now. After I record all my videos, I'll put them up on Facebook and Twitter. Because as a red pill man, it's my job to deliver the truth to you brothers out there. And you brothers, you need to stop being thirsty. Because all you're doing is making these single mothers relevant. And you're allowing them to have attitudes. And at the end of the day, these single mothers aren't relevant. They're a human toilet. And at the end of the day, get your rocks off and keep it moving. Because single mothers are a liability. On that note, be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That concludes this video right here on the 411 Talk Zone radio show on YouTube. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. I want you to have a wonderful and graceful evening. God bless you. Till next time.